Okay, are we up here? Excuse me, good morning, good morning. Anybody here? Anybody home? Check Wi-Fi. Okay, we've been through this. Yeah, we're okay. Good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, mixed bag today. Very, very mixed bag today. Been running around this morning trying to get everything organized. A few jobs are on the desk at the same time. I'm not actually quite sure which one I should be doing. One job is, of course, we've got the block that we were working on yesterday morning still here, just where we left it. I still have to do the clearance of this block. That's waiting today. The noisy part of it is done. We just have to get around to the quiet stuff. But before I do that, there's a more priority job waiting. Excuse me. We've got some embossing to do this morning, and this is not one of our normal prints. This is the first batch of Patreon chibis. I say the first batch. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batches here today. The printers have all been working heavily, beavering away at it, and we've got to get these mailed. These should have been mailed weeks ago to the Patreon people. You know, they're going to be cut in half, of course, before they get mailed. And I was just delaying. I forgot to get the embossing block ordered, and it came, was it yesterday or the day yesterday before? So the embossing block is ready, so this morning I have to get this done. I've got to beaver away at this morning. My throat, it's, as you can hear, I've still got something in my throat, whatever. It's that season for me. So for the next few days, weeks or so, I think I'm going to be here singing the blues, I think, whatever. So my voice has dropped an octave, isn't it? So, and it's still on the way down. Okay, anyway, I got to get with it. I know you've seen this happen before. What I've got, of course, it's an embossing block. It's what we call, well, you can see it there, I think. And there's a bit of a quirk to this. You can see there's a split line here. And the reason for this is what happened is I ordered the Jushiban polymer plate so that it would work out so that the two embossings were exactly the right size for putting in the two places in the print. Just exactly the right size so we can do it together. Bang, bang, before we cut them apart. But what I forgot is that normally we do this, the printers are printing the colors, then they've got this plate ready, and as the last impression while the paper's still wet, they do the embossing. We didn't get the embossing plate ready in time, and they've finished a bunch of their prints, and they're all dry now. And because they're dry, the paper has shrunk back down to normal size. So the embossing plate that I had prepared was designed to be done when the paper was at a wet size. It was larger by about nearly a millimeter. So it didn't fit. When I tried this yesterday on dry paper, of course it didn't fit. The paper has shrunk. So I had to get my knife out, cut it in half, strip away a bit of a millimeter, and tape it back in place. So we're going to have to do this twice. So I'm going to do this now for all the prints that have been dried, and then I'm going to have to readjust the plate, give it to the girls, so that from now on, when they're doing their prints, when they're wet, it will fit. There's that much difference, you know. When we moisten the paper, it expands, and after the printing is finished, it dries. So any block for making a print has to be decided. Are you going to be using it when the print is wet or when the print is dry? And the normal embossing we do on the side of the print, you know, you've seen me do it before, put the names on the side. It doesn't really matter whether the paper has shrunk 1 millimeter or so. But on this one, it matters because the lettering doesn't fit anymore in the proper place. Anyway, I gotta get to it. There's other jobs waiting too, so if I get this finished, I may be moving on to still one more job, but if I don't get going, it's not going to get finished. So. Excuse me there. Test sheets. And as usual, for those of you who have never seen this before, what I do is because the paper's dry, we have to moisten it quickly. So I've got a bit of a cloth here. Just get a tiny bit of moisture there's also no room for a normal registration system. And there's the first thing busing. I'm not sure again if we can show. We always try and show this and it's not so successful usually. It might show. Mokohankam Patreon Summer 2018 and Mokohankam Patreon Winter 2018. This is the 2018 pair. We did last year the 2017 pair. They've been retired now. This first batch I'm doing now, they were printed by Ade-chan. She's the young girl who's working with us, the young girl from Hong Kong. She's working out to be very, very nice. She's very slow, extremely slow. And that's going to take time. She's still in the mode where taking too much care. She's being extremely delicate and careful with all her motions. And nothing wrong with that, but you can't be productive at that level. She's got to get into a swing where she really just goes and goes and goes. But she's still a ways from being able to do that. The TV news, excuse me, I'm not quite sure what I brought you up to date on. The TV people were here again yesterday filming. Filming most of the day, and they confirmed next Tuesday's visit is going to be on. And for those of you who don't know what's going on here, I know there's been a TV crew from TV Tokyo. They've been hanging around here for the past few days. The original idea was to give us a 7-minute spot, 6 or 7 minute spot, on a variety program next week. And that has now grown to a 25-minute spot. So it's pretty good. It's got a primetime afternoon program. They're going to feature us for about 25 minutes. And there's a few things that are happening. They've been here, they've filmed a print party, a couple of print parties. They've filmed activity in the shop. They've talked to the printers upstairs. They've interviewed me, watched me carving. Did a bunch of different stuff. They even went out with me after dinner into the bath and all that stuff. But what they came up with, somebody along the idea at the TV show came up with, they want me to go to the studio. The normal structure for these variety programs is they prepare some what they call VTR, some B-roll, some background imagery of the specific topic that they're talking about. They've been to our shop to do that. And then at the time of broadcast of the program, there's a live group of panelists and what they call talents here in Japan. And they sit in the studio and they chat with each other and they watch the VTR and etc., etc., etc. And the producer has come up with the idea that I'm supposed to be waiting in the studio with my print gear, our print party experience gear. And that after the talent people have seen the panelists, after they've seen the VTR about our work, the announcer, the MC will then say, okay, good, and today in the studio here with us today is blah, 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 Dave Bull. And the doors will open, and there I will be with our print party bench and some blocks. And that's going to be happening next Tuesday. The program itself starts at 4 o'clock. It runs from 4 to 5. And somewhere in that program will be our segment, a 25-minute segment. So I don't know exactly what time we are going to be on the air. And I've heard various things about where this is visible and where this is not visible. It's Japanese domestic TV. It's TV Tokyo is the station. This is happening next Tuesday the 29th. And they don't run internet broadcasts, but it seems there are outside companies that license these things for internet broadcasts. Somebody was posting about this on the stream yesterday. But you have to subscribe to those. So what I was going to suggest, if I'm going to look up and write an email to the person who posted about this yesterday, he seems to have an account with that. He has a subscription to this service where you can watch these Japanese TV programs on air as they're happening. And if he also has a Twitch account, maybe he can sort of do a guerrilla stream for something like this. I don't know. And that would be fun. Now, it's probably, not so cool to take copyrighted TV programs and stream them, but if we just took a small segment, we could perhaps get away with it. I'm not sure. So what have we got going here? In conversations. Oh, somebody's linked it. Okay, good. No, there's no possibility you say bargain with the station to put on my YouTube. No, not possible. There's so many rights that are involved. I've talked to before people about TV stuff like this, and there's no way I can get permission to put such a thing on my YouTube account, because it's not a question of them saying, okay, that's cool, go ahead and do it. Whenever there's a TV production like this, there are so many layers of rights involved. Each of the actors, the stars of this program, they're going to be contracted to do a certain thing. And if it turns out that that program is going to be streamed on the net or put on YouTube, they're supposed to get paid more, stuff like this. Or the people that provided the music, all the licensing, the music, the actors, the guys who did the lights, all their work, it's licensed for specific use. In this case, one broadcast on Japanese domestic TV. Remember, these programs aren't made by the TV stations. These programs are made by outside companies. It's not TV Tokyo that's been dealing with us this week. It's an outside production company. They make these things and they sell/license them to the actual networks. So there's no way I can bargain with them to get permission. Okay, let me put it up on YouTube just in exchange for, having no fee or something. It's not possible because of all the licensing issues of all the people that are involved in the production. On my website, in the press corner of my website, I do have a bunch of things that I put up from Japanese TV programs from previous years. And they're all more than 10 years old, and I put them up all at tiny 240. This is the kind of comments I've received from people in the TV business. I can get away with it as long as I keep it very, very undercover, and very, very small, and very, very old. So I'm not going to be able to help you with this thing. I myself can't put this up on YouTube after it's finished. something going on with the stream? No, it looks okay at this end. I'm seeing everything. Green, drop frame 0, Wi-Fi okay. I'm not seeing any problems here. It's too early, I think. Our own problems usually start around the end of the stream, not the beginning of the stream. Comments. I can't keep up with this. Hang on a sec. I'm not going to be doing this embossing for the entire stream today. It's just too boring to do for continuously. I've got to finish this batch here so that the packing ladies can get started. Just a few more, about 10 more to do or so. Then I'll switch back to the carving that I left off from yesterday morning. So relax, it's not going to be a total embossing stream this morning. I had 3 or 4 jobs to do today. I've got to start another sizing batch. That's got to be done this morning actually too. So when I'm finished this stream, I'll be getting upstairs to do some sizing. Everything seems to come in batches. Then I've got to do test printing. I've got to do some test inkjet printing. I'll show you in a few minutes. I guess those of you yesterday who were here saw what I was doing on that. Got to try the inkjet printing for the share certificates. I went to Hut Capital last night and I spent, I don't know how long, an hour and a half, 2 hours chatting with the salespeople in the Epson Canon display rooms there. My God, there are so many problems buying a printer, you know. Luckily, I've had experience buying printers now again and again, and I remember the questions you're supposed to ask about this, you know. Just every time you solve one problem, one question, something else comes up. It doesn't work with that particular font, or it doesn't work with that OS, or the paper has to go in upside down. It doesn't fit, and it won't do that particular kind of paper. And, oh no, sir, that doesn't work if you want to do that. Just everything you try and do just doesn't work. The printers nowadays are so generic. Okay, here's the last sheet. We'll move on to something else now. Thanks for your patience while I do this. It's really not a very interesting job, but it's something I do have to do. I'm sorry. Okay. That batch is done. The packing ladies have something to do. Okay, move on to the next job here. Okay, trying to catch up on the stream here. Blah, 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 blah. Print party, print party. Yeah, it was a good fun print party on the stream the other day. Very nice, good fun. Program, Yoji Goji Days. Yes, that's the program, yes. Deviant Hakabara, whatever. Printers are evil, I'll buy you that. We ended up with an Epson, yes. The Canon drivers don't work with our Macs. We ended up with an Epson. The driver there is a more generic driver that runs with our Macintoshes. And the biggest problem we had yesterday, I went around and around and around. What we're trying to do is, so we talked about this before, we've got the sample prints. These are for our share certificates, remember? We're going to, there's the dummy mock-up here. The share certificate is going to be inkjet printed for the share part itself, and the central part is going to be woodblock printed. No big deal, we can do this. We do the woodblock part first because we can print it now in inkjet with no problem, but if we do the inkjet part first, I can't moisten it to do the woodblock part. So these are all samples. This is not the real share certificates. We've been doing different tests. These papers are mostly from the company called Awagami. They do a washi that is designed for inkjet printing, and they've got some special coating and whatever. You set your driver on the printer and it comes out really nice, in theory. And what I did, I made a big mistake. I didn't know it was a mistake. I made a big mistake. I designed this so that we wanted a 3mm margin at the top and 5mm margins at the sides. Because I had looked in the printer catalogs. I thought I was ahead of the game. And the printer catalogs say how much margin is allowed. Printers can't print right to the edge of the paper. They need some margin out of the edge, inkjet printers. So the catalog, the Epson and Canon catalog, so I both looked at, seemed to have the same setting. Top margins 3, 5 and 5, but the bottom there was any margin allowed, whatever you wanted to use. I get to the shop last night and try and look at this and confirm with a little girl who's talking about this, and she says, you can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do that? And she says, no, on all the A4 printers we sell these days, the paper doesn't go in this way from the top. The paper all goes in portrait format. So this becomes the top of the paper. This is the side, and that's the back. You can't put it in. They're not designed to feed in this way. They all design. It'll print landscape. It'll turn the thing sideways. You can print it landscape, but when the paper goes in this way, this is defined as the top of the paper. So I can't have what I wanted, 3mm here. This has to be 5. All right, move on. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. We look deep in the catalog of the printer here, and it says, actually, there's a setting you can put on, which it allows you to go right to the edge and each time. And it'll blur at the edge, but you cut that off later. No problem. We look at that, and the setting, it has a little tiny star. It says tar star. Look for footnote number 11. We look for footnote number 11, and there it is. And that setting is only applicable when you're using raw copy paper. If you're using fine art paper, that setting is not applicable. And in the case of the Canon one, the fine art setting meant you could not come closer than 3 centimeters to the edge of the paper. 3 centimeters. So totally, absolutely useless. And if I hadn't noticed that tiny, fine little detail of look at the bottom of the page and skip the number page 11. So whatever, what we've done is this. I've gone with a generic A4 printer, the Epson type. It's going to be 5, 5, 5, 5 all the way around. We're going to have to print it this way, and I'm going to have to move. I'm going to have to scale this thing down a little bit, and then I'm going to have to move my registration marks on my block to move this more into the middle of the paper. So when we move it when we print it this way, we're okay. So it's going to have to be refactored, the whole thing. I should have bought the printer first, maybe, and then built the paper to fit the printer, but I just didn't think there was going to be such a problem. I assumed top of the paper meant the top of the paper, whatever. It's my own stupidity, I guess, whatever. Anyway, it's coming along. We've got a printer now. Cameron will be helping me test it today. What we're going to do first is we're going to chop up this into smaller pieces of paper, feed them in, and try all the different settings to find out which one looks the best. When the settings are all decided, we know what we're doing, then we're going to try and shrink the thing to find the alignment already. Then when that's done, I'll go back and print my first 80 copies or so of this thing on the paper we've chosen. And these should be on the way, hopefully, to the Patreon and supporters in the not too distant future. So apologies for those of you who've been still waiting for these, but the work is now coming along. It's happening. Okay, I think I should just get back to banging. Clear off the desk here. Excuse me, sir. Actually, there's no banging this morning. It's a quiet carving this morning. The banging was yesterday. This morning's carving will be quiet. Wrong glasses. Lights. Camera. Where am I here? I'm on the outside border, I think. This shouldn't take more than a few minutes. In fact, if I can finish this one off now before the stream ends, then I'll be moving on to the next one. We'll start the preparation for the next color block in this series. We have to zoom in. Where are we? Here. Yoisha. Is that going to do this? Are we going to focus? Let's give it a try. Need some tools. Okay, let's get to work. Thank you. This is exactly where I left off yesterday morning. Still some roughness down on the outside here. Gotta get rid of this stuff. Nervous about the focus. We seem to be having so much trouble with the focus yesterday. It seems alright. over the past week or so, now that progress has been, we've been making progress on this microwave print. I've been showing it to people. What happens usually, we do a print party or there's people in the shop, and quite frequently they ask, where's your carving bench? Can I see it? So we bring the people, if we've got time, and if it's not too crowded, whatever, we bring them back into the back room here. And they can see the carving bench. And on the carving bench, the last week or so, has been this microwave print. And everybody says the same thing, oh my God, is that it? We're going to do that in the print parties? I'm coming back to do this. So I'm getting more and more a bit nervous about this. This has got to work. I'm still not 100% sure this is going to work for a print party print. I can print it. Our printers can print it. But can beginners print this? I don't know. It's quite possible we've bitten off more than we can chew here. We've bitten off more than the beginner printers can chew, when they come in for a print party. So we'll see, this is not a given. It's not a guaranteed thing that this is going to work. But everybody who sees it has been totally excited about it. It's something to do with hook size image that just seems to catch people. Quite hard, some of these places, Hopefully this block can last quite a while. We'll see. The Peach Boy print we've had in the room there for years, it's totally end of life now on the blocks. And it's well over 10,000 copies, well over 10,000. The color blocks got replaced part way along, and the key block is now coming to end of life. So it's really critical for us to get these new print party blocks up and running as soon as possible. Okay, there's the sky outline. Let's get these boats. Someone's asking about LaserJet printers. I know we haven't tested it yet. We're going to test that as well. The paper we got from Awagami, the paper maker, it's called Awagami Pro Paper for inkjet printers, and it clearly says in their explanation material, these papers are not for laser printers. And my guess is some of the coating they've prepared for them can't handle the heat that a laser printer makes when it's finishing up per sheet. We're going to try it, but we're just at the moment we're following their instructions. These papers are good for inkjets. They're not to be used with laser printers. We're just going to see. We're going to try it. So talking about that, we'll make it work, the Great Wave print. I know we can make something happen and we can make it work and the staff will get the people through it. But part of our philosophy is we really want to make the people feel happy in terms of, oh my God, look what I did. I can't believe I did that all by myself. And we feel that's an important part of the print experience in our room. That they get not just a fun time doing it, but that they walk away with something that they really, really are pleased and happy with. And on top of that, we want, not everybody, of course, but we want a large number of these people to think, maybe I could try doing this by myself. Maybe this would make a nice hobby, or I'd like to make prints. Not sure what's happening outside there. Is that a garbage collection? What day is it today? It's Friday. Yeah, it is garbage day. No allergies, just a typical springtime sore throat. Seems to come around once a year or so for me, sometimes in the spring, sometimes in the autumn. Something to do when the weather changes, it seems. I get this stuff, I don't really know why. So for the next few days or week maybe, you'll hear this voice. I kind of like it, actually. It's too bad I'm not a singer. It could be really fun. Head for the karaoke bar tonight. Although I wonder if it'll still be here next Tuesday's that TV show, so no idea. Whatever, I can still talk and communicate, but I'm in the middle too of preparing for the next YouTube video. Still, it's been a bit busy the last few days and haven't had a chance to do work on that, but there is preparation in progress now for the next YouTube video, which hopefully is going to be another ramble video, the same type that I did for that Ito-san the Carver. I've been collecting some props and trying to get the story organized. I'm almost ready, but I haven't, I can't find a way to structure the story so that it's a bit more interesting at the end. That Ito-san story, it had sort of basically interesting content. Did this happen to Dave, then this happened to Dave, and then something else happened. But it also had a kind of a structure. There was it came back at the end, when I got possession of Ito-san's TV block and something. So there was sort of a nice sort of a circle and a structure to the story that made it satisfying to listen to and to watch all the way to the end. Well, the next story I'm preparing now, it's about some wood blocks that I have in my basement over in Ome. But I'm having trouble structuring the story in a way that it makes it interesting when we get to that part where Dave receives the wood blocks, because it's I don't want to tell the story here, but I'm still struggling with how to make it more interesting as a story, not just as an episode. This happened, there we are, goodbye. We can make it a bit more interesting than that. I haven't found the key yet, so just let me keep thinking about that for a while. There's no rush, because once these YouTube videos go up, they're going to be there basically forever, I guess. I don't know, whatever. So it's worth taking the time to get it right, I think. There was a funny one last night. There was a couple in from Belgium last night. And they had been in the day before. We sort of ran out of time. They were in late in the day. And I guess they had felt that we were trying to close up, so they left early yesterday. But, planning to come back today earlier. I guess they had a busy day in Tokyo, and they got back today here quite late again. And as they were here chatting and looking at prints and whatever, the staff started to clean up. 5:30, get the shop ready. So they were thinking they should leave. I said, no, relax, whatever, it's okay. The staff's going to go home, but I'm still here. No sweat. It turned out I didn't get out of here till 7:30, talking to them, and because the door was still open, other people were coming in, and one thing led to another, and our official 5:30 closing time became about 7:30. whatever, we were just sitting chatting. It was fun. It wasn't anybody else ready to disturb us. The phone wasn't ringing and nothing else was going on because it was late, and they picked out a print to buy, and it turned out it's one of the prints that has a whole bunch of stories behind it. And I started chatting with him about this, and minutes go by and more minutes go by and more minutes go by. And basically what they got was a private YouTube video from Dave telling me stories about this print. And the guy said, so, wow, we should have been recording this, whatever. It would have made a cool story for YouTube, whenever it's gone, I can't wire myself up for this. But they were lucky, I guess. They're pleasant people anyway. Excuse me. Well, that's the thing we were joking about last night. After when we were wrapping up and they were leaving the shop, if we had been recording the conversation, it would have been really fun for other people to listen to. Because it was, just I was explaining some behind the scenes things about one of the Ukiyo Heroes prints we had made. Some sort of some details between the conversations between Jed and I when we were making this thing, and it actually was quite an interesting story, but. It's not something I can specifically make a YouTube video out of. That kind of thing. When I think about that, how to take the stories and episodes and information and things that are part of our daily life, and how to get them into a format that other people can see and understand. And this is where I'm really unhappy about that documentary video they made about us, that Ukiyo Heroes documentary video. I've chatted about this before, how the whole premise was supposed to be a documentary, but it didn't happen. They were going to make a movie. They had a script worked out and things like that. I've chatted about this before. And it's frustrating to me because the movie that you've seen, this thing, The Art of the Game, the Ukiyo Heroes documentary, to me it's a shallow representation of that project. It catches the overall thing. If you've never heard of Ukiyo Heroes before, fine, that gives you an introduction to it. Who's Dave, who's Jed, what did we do, bang, there it goes. That's all. But there are so many more interesting aspects to it that didn't come out and didn't get caught because they didn't know about it and they didn't ask any questions. I mean, if you're a documentary filmmaker, you probe, you come in and you probe and you poke around and you try and figure out, what is this guy telling me, what isn't this guy telling me. There was so much more interesting stuff that could have been told, but they missed it completely. So I don't know, I can't put an advertisement up. Please come and do a documentary about us, because my God, it would just take so much time anyway. And how do I know that the next person is going to be any good at this? I don't know. How do you identify a person who can tell your story in an interesting way and tell your story in such a way that he's going to come and find stuff that I myself don't know? That's the kind of documentary we want to see, A person who comes in here and peels stuff back and sees aspects of this that we didn't know ourselves and we don't understand ourselves. And that would be a really, really cool documentary. Tell our story in a way that's going to surprise me. this is something else. These blocks I'm carving now, they're going to go to the print party. They're going to be printed by amateurs, not by professionals. And it affects things like this corner. I know for us as professionals, we know corners are dangerous. We know that it's a temptation when we're rubbing the thing that too much pressure goes on the corner, always. And if we carve it exactly the shape you're supposed to see, how can I describe this? An amateur is going to bang this corner, and it's going to come out thicker and harder and longer, and it's going to be pushed deeper into the paper than normally. So I'm going to cut this back a little more than it normally would be, because I know it's going to get pushed too hard. But with us, we're aware of corners, we don't push them too hard, we know how to print them. So that what you carve, now what can I say? Oh yeah, okay, when we're carving a block, what we do is we carve a block that will print the image we want to see. We don't carve the image we want to see. Do you see the difference? We don't carve the image, we carve a block that will print the image we want to see. And that the assumption there is that it's being printed by a professional printer who knows how hard to press, who knows where to apply pressure and where not to apply pressure. Beginners don't know that at all. So the shape of the block is going to be in some places subtly different because we know it's going to get hit too hard in many places. So I'm cutting back a little more to account for that in advance. Otherwise this corner will get way too long and smear into other places. Is Dave hungover? No, I'm not hungover. I've just got a bit of a sore throat. I don't get drunk. I don't drink, you know. It's just not my character. I drink, but my normal limit, last night with dinner, I had 1 glass of beer, and it was a small glass, like 250 milliliters, 300 milliliters. And for me, that's normal. That's it for one dinner by myself. A couple of weeks back, the staff, 5 of us, we went out to a bar after dinner. Me, Kawai-san, Aoyama-san, Sugi-san joined us from upstairs, which is really unusual. One of the girls to join us. And we were having fun, so we stayed for a couple of hours. So I had 2 beers, and that was absolutely it for me. 2 beers is all my system can handle. And I was okay, I came home all right, you know. But if somebody had been watching me on the way home, they're probably thinking, Dave's a little loose here tonight. So with 2 beers, that's my max. And drunk, no, I don't do drunk. I've never actually been drunk at all. I've never tried that, so. Sorry to disappoint you. So my voice tonight is simply it's a sore throat, kind of some cough. Wrong way on the grain. What for time? We're okay, right? Nearly 9 o'clock. I should. Let's just see how it goes. If I can finish this, I can pull the proof for the next color print, for the next color block, which will be the blue, the light blue waves. It's probably time for our friend to show up, I guess, Cameron, I don't know. I've got a bunch of office stuff going on today. The gas heater upstairs has stopped working and it's too old. We're trying to get, Cameron phoned around yesterday to get some estimates on the replacement for the gas heater. And we know what's going to happen. Like, we checked first on, websites as to what the basic prices of these heaters are. And it seems like the size we need runs about $500 for the heater itself. And the first estimate he got yesterday was like $1,500 for the heater plus another $1,500 for installation. And we're just going to laugh at it, That's what they hit housewives with, A typical housewife in Japan, she has no idea what these things cost or how to source them or whatever. And she would just swallow that $3,000 to replace your kitchen gas heater. Go ahead, And we found out the replacement cost of the heater itself is about $500. The quote came out around $3,000. There's no way. We're a bit careful with the problem with the gas heaters. You can't just replace it by yourself. You can't fool around. I'll mess around with the water. I don't care. The lighting, I did it myself, but we don't mess around with gas. I mean, I'm not that much of an idiot to do that. So we got a balance here. We got to tell these guys that's too much money, but they know that we can't do it ourselves. So the negotiations are going to be back and forth based on that. So. Luckily, the market here in Japan is liberalized a bit, and there are now more than, each area is supplied by more than one company. And that's going to be our saving grace there. When it's gas and it's just one company, they have totally got you by the balls because you can't do it yourself, So we'll see. That'll be the focus of Cameron's job today, is trying to negotiate that price. $3,000 to replace a simple gas heater. This is the kind that sits over the sink. You've seen it, This is not like a gas furnace for the whole house, the whole building. This is one of those little gas heaters that sits on the wall above a sink. You turn the tap on and hot water comes into your sink. And they want $3,000 for replacing this. Well, new people here, are we? Thanks for helping explain, guys. Regular viewers, explaining lots of things. Thank you very much. Oh, my mother's there. I need some honey. I need a honey. Hi, Mom. How you doing? I've got some soft juice here. It's Fruits Olay, which is helping keep my throat moistened here. Drink lots, drink lots, drink lots. Would carvers do test prints during the old system? No, carvers didn't do any printing at all. I don't know. What a carver would do sometimes, and still does, is he's got a really rough barren and paper. And while he's carving, he might test it, put a bit of grey pigment on something and print it and test it to see how it looks. But in general, no. They don't do that. They don't touch that. Qualify that with two things. Some carvers are working in the publisher's business building. For example, the Adachi workshop here. Upstairs on their second floor, they've got a printer's room with 3 or 4 printers working. And across the hallway, there's a carver's room with 2, sometimes 3 carvers carving. And in a structure like that, you've got people right at hand. So if the carver needed some guidance on something or he can throw the block next door, the printer can take a pull proof and throw it back to him. And the publisher is also there. So they're working right under the publisher's direction in the publisher's building. The other option is when the carver is an outside, hired gun. He's a freelance. He's just in his own home. And he would never, under those circumstances, he would never put pigment on the block because he has no idea what any given block is going to be used for. It could be quite possible that he put blue pigment or something. The test turns out it's going to be pink in the finished print. So he would never do that. He would just cut the shapes as he sees them. And back it goes to the publisher's place. So a carver typically would never ever try printing anything or touch anything. The blocks come to him ready to cut. The paper is all there. Maybe the carver will paste down the paper sometimes. It might be already pasted on. It's all case by case. But no, carvers would not have done printing, period. Audio crackling, is it my mic? Can I touch the mic to see if something's happening here? Touch, touch, touch. That's the microphone. Levels are clipping. If I speak at this level, no. If I speak louder, 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 it does seem to clip at the end of my stream here. Should I turn the volume down a bit? I'm not banging anymore here. Volume's now down to about 80% of what it was a moment ago. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Against the grain here. Get this corner out. Yesterday's shop was just such a fun day. It was just chaos. At one point, we had to yell upstairs to Cameron, get down here and help us, because we were running print parties back to back, and sometimes the shop just fills up within instants. It just fills up. And Cameron's not here as a shop assistant. That's not his job, but he's overflow. And when we're in trouble, we yelled upstairs. He comes down. He came down once. I'm trying to do the register or something, chat with people, and the party's going on there. But we yelled upstairs to Cameron. He came downstairs and then disappeared, went running back upstairs. I'm like, well, thanks a lot. That really helps. What's going on? What's going on? And what he had done was he had seen the shop was so bizarrely crowded. He thought, wow, it's a good chance to get some photographs for Facebook or something. So he came in, looked at the shop, then ran back up to get his camera. I'm like, forget the freaking camera. We need help in the shop. We're all laughing, and he did. Of course, he started helping people. But then while he's at it, he's trying to catch his camera, trying to get some good shots for Facebook. Because it was just so crowded. We do sometimes get that. Those of you who have come in the shop, the structure. There's you come up the stairs, and there's a window in front of you, and the door on the right, and you can see into the shop through the window. And when it's really crowded, they come up the stairs and they can't see any place to get in. So they look through the window. It's so crowded, there's no room for anybody to stand. So they turn around the stairs and go back down. So we actually lose some people because they actually can't get into the place. So. So maybe he's got some pictures coming for Facebook, or maybe he's already done that, or Instagram or something. I don't know. I don't actually have time to keep track of what he's doing there. But there will be some perhaps chaotic pictures either already up or coming soon. I don't know. I don't actually see that stuff. He runs an Instagram account for us, but I don't really pay much attention to Instagram myself, so I don't really even see what he's doing there. I hear a question in the question box. Just a second here. Do we worry about thieves when the shop is so crowded? I don't know, not really. There's a couple of reasons. We don't have small stuff. We don't have things that are pocketable. I guess people could put a print in their backpack or something. But when it's so crowded, remember, other customers would see it. There's no really easy way for people to steal stuff. It's possible. Maybe we're getting ripped off in some cases. I don't know. The other thing, though, is the kind of people who come into our shop, it's kind of a filter. It's like the YouTube channel. There are very, very few obscene or awful or terrible comments on the YouTube channel. Why? Because there's a filter. The only people who are hanging around there are kind of decent people. We seem to not be so attractive to other kind of people. And I think it's the same with our shop. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're getting burned, but we don't really see much like that. Someone's asking about the print party paper. I mentioned before when people in the print parties are banging the edges and the corners and stuff like that. So they're asking, is it possible to consider using a stiffer washi for them? Well, actually, we're already doing that. It's built in. The paper we're using for our print parties is not the same quite delicate washi paper that we use for our own printmaking. We learned long ago that wasn't really possible. Our own washi, even though it's very, very strong, it does have to be handled. What's the word? We got to handle it carefully. We have to handle it well. And the beginners in the print parties have much too rough an approach to picking up and holding and manipulating the paper. So what we're using in the print parties for the actual paper is not prime, living national treasure, hand-dipped, hand-wrought paper. It's just not possible. It's not just for expense reasons. We're not just trying to keep the cost down. We'd have to charge double if we were using that kind of paper. It's for the reason that that paper requires more delicacy in handling. So the paper we're using in the print parties, we have been using for many, many years now. It's not a handmade rock paper. It's a machine-made paper. It's sort of called washi by the people who supply it to us, but I don't know what their definition of washi is. It's some combination of natural fiber and pulp. And it's, of course, machine-made, and it's nicely calendared. It means the front surface is quite smooth. And it's got a couple of advantages for us. That even when moistened, it's not too floppy. It will hold up. It's got a bit of stiffness in it, so people can hold it and manipulate it and carry it, even when they don't have too much experience. And the other advantage it has to us, and this is sort of a disadvantage and an advantage, it changes its moisture content really easily and quickly. That sounds like a disadvantage. It does. It gets dry really quickly when people are using it. The edges start to dry right away. But what happens on then is when we take the break in a print party, we re-moisten it, and within seconds. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Train trouble?
No, just
scheduling on
brain
schedule.
trouble.
Yeah.
No. Finally. Yeah.
So the paper we're using, it's an easily manipulable paper. I'm trying to answer your question here.
Oh yeah, no problem.
So yeah, your suggestion there, we're on that. We've chosen a paper that we think, minimizes the problems for party attendees. Cameron, a few jobs. What I've been doing, I did some embossing first on some of the Patreon chibis.
Oh, okay.
I've got lots more to do. Sorry to take up your space.
Oh, no, that's fine.
I'm trying to defrost. So
Okay. That's okay.
you could
That's fine.
just
I can just.
take the whole thing and just maybe dump it behind you or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
It's in this printing paper inside, so don't.
Bend it.
Yeah, just maybe right to the bottom. Take the whole
Okay.
right
Oh,
to
there's
the bottom of the.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then once the stream's off, I'll get back in there and finish that. I did about 20 minutes of it, but I didn't want to do 2 hours of it because it's just too boring for the stream. So, yeah.
Got it.
And now I'm doing the block that we picked up. We finished yesterday, and it looks like that'll be the end of it today. Just doing this, and I missed a bunch of conversation. There's been things going on.
Yeah.
So I was asking this, do you have much, I was talking about this shop yesterday being so crowded. Remember you came in there, took some
crowded.
pictures
Yes,
of it like
yeah.
that. Did you upload those pictures to Instagram or something, or not yet? Or?
No, not yet.
I was
but
just mentioning you took
do
some.
that, yeah.
Okay, no. Then somebody
Do you want
asked,
them on the computer or
no, whatever,
Instagram
it's up to you. It's up to you.
okay.
Just I had mentioned here that Cameron took pictures, and where are they? And I don't know
Okay,
where
yeah,
they are.
they can come.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But somebody's asking if it's that crowded, are we susceptible to thievery? Are people stealing stuff because it's so crowded?
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that, and I tried to answer it here just now. I know
Yeah.
a couple of things. We don't have really small, pocketable stuff.
Yeah, nothing's
The
fitting
prints
in
are fairly
someone's
large.
pockets.
Yeah, they could go in a backpack, I guess. Careful. But the other thing too, when it's so crowded, it's crowded with other customers. And if you see the guy standing next to you pocketing some prints, like, what are you going to do?
Hey man, I wanted that print. No.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
being a bit missing it, but I don't think we have a
Yeah.
whole lot of problem.
No, and you do have a couple of ways that you organize the prints, so it's easy to count. Like, oh, these are all
Yeah,
here still.
yeah, yeah. The things that I'm a little concerned that people might be trying to,
Yeah.
we can easily quickly identify if one is missing.
Right.
So I don't want to talk about it too much.
No, that's debate. Good morning, everyone.
But maybe we're losing some. I don't know. It's possible, I guess. The other question, of course, is employee thievery. Like you go to Walmart or something, their biggest, maybe not the customer stealing stuff, but the employees stealing stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think we have such a problem? Answer quickly.
Don't come over to my house until I clean up now. Got my own side business selling them all on eBay. No.
Well, that was you, was it? That ID. So
Yeah.
Hilker Cameron. What was your
Yeah.
ID? I spelled it backwards or something.
Yeah.
Or something.
Recklin Noramac. Figured me out. No, I don't think so.
I was also chatting about the gas thing. The email you sent me with a quote from the gas guy, like at nearly 3,000.
Isn't that insane?
Just whatever. This is Japan. Housewives don't know, so they just have to say yes. These companies that do renovation and construction work, they got the housewives over a barrel because nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
So he's gonna come by and bring a paper, and then I think we're gonna
Whatever.
have a conversation. Or
And we have an out these days. They've liberalized the market so that we're not stuck with one company.
Right.
The pipes are there and the gas is the same, but we can choose from 3 or 4 companies.
Okay.
So that's our Eastern Home. We just tell them, sorry, we're going to cancel our contract. Shut the gas off. That's it. We're finished. Goodbye. You're gone.
Yeah.
And what we do is we go and buy the thing wholesale. We bring it in here. And with the gas off now, we fix it. We put it up in place.
Yeah.
And call a new company. They come in there. They'll verify the pipes and checks and verify it and start up a new account. And bingo, we're good to go. And if Aoyama-san won't want to do that, but even if we just buy the new one, stand it right there on the wall, okay, new company come in, put it up.
Put it in for us.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's our Eastern Home with this guy today. First show him the wholesale prices that we know about.
Yeah.
Goman yen. He's charging us what? $1,400?
$1,400. It's crazy. Dead Steve says, I'm making a request to test a higher bitrate 1080p stream for a day. Were you talking about that earlier, how I looked up some stuff, or no, it just came out of nowhere? Okay.
We can't set it, all right? I don't think we have any control over that.
I think OBS might be able to. Or the camera. I don't know if it's right now capturing 1080p and smashing it down to 720p, or compressing, I guess is a better word than smashing. But, or is it directly capturing 720? Because
we're using this for YouTube videos, so I believe it's set for the top resolution.
Okay.
But I don't quote me on
go
it.
look around.
But it's nothing I can change midstream, right?
No, not midstream, no. But you could poke around. Because I did look up that camera. It does do 1080p, so it's possible. And the CPU isn't getting used any huge amount, so I think it could handle the conversion. But I don't know. Okay. Cording Gummy says, all of Cameron's shoji are plastered with big waves and owls that have been taken.
At home.
No,
really.
yeah, all over the house. No. Saiko Suika says, orange shirt, nice choice. Yep, it's one of my few not blue shirts.
So you're living high. You're living dangerously today. Is that the idea? So,
Yep. Going crazy.
Wild and crazy, Cameron.
Yeah. Orange.
Shirt that isn't
Opposite
blue,
side of the color wheel. Just...
I'm on the same boat. I don't have anything red in my. There's no way I would ever buy such a thing. Even the one you're wearing now, I would never ever. That's probably a gift from somebody, was it?
It's.
Did you buy it yourself?
I don't. I think it was a gift. Yeah.
I would never ever buy any clothes like that. So we're obviously in a similar area of the color wheel here. So.
Yep.
Boring white guys.
Boring white guys with blue shirts.
Yeah. I'm a step ahead of you. I don't wear socks.
Oh, yeah. Is that a head or?
Wait a minute.
Those wood carvings must be great as kindling. I bet they would be. All the little chips.
Where's this conversation? Oh, the chips.
Yeah, not your wood box.
Well, we did do that once. I was talking about this yesterday when I was working back in Ome by myself.
Yeah.
Here, actually, Kawai-san is being really good. He's coming out and cleaning us.
Yeah. There are some down there.
It's building up right now because we've been too busy in shop. But Kawai-san comes in and cleans up now.
Yeah.
But when I was back in Ome, there was nobody to do that.
Right.
And they would go under. And at some point now, my feet are on this, and my knees get pushed up so high that I can't actually get into my bench anymore. So I'd lift the top off. It was designed to lift my top off, get a bucket, and get a shovel. And literally a flat shovel, like shoveling coal into an old steam liner. Like a half an hour's job shoveling this thing out. And one day, my girlfriend, she heard about this or saw this or whatever. And she says, oh my God, these are cherry wood chips. I want these. I'm like,
okay.
Whatever. And it turns out what she wanted was there's something to do with the ash from burned cherry wood. And I'm not, don't take me my word for this. I'm just repeating the story that she told me that she heard from somebody else. The ash from cherry has some specifically high nutrient value, and she really wanted this for her garden.
So she burns it, mixes it in the
soil. She did it once, and it took so much time and all these, whatever. It just wasn't worth it, and then nothing happened or something. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So she did what? She took a bunch of boxes of these chips from me into her garden, burned them, and then spread the ash around. And then she never asked again. So.
The tomatoes weren't any better that year than the year before.
It's some phosphorus or something, or I don't know idea. But it was specifically supposed to be cherry. And she said that she had heard it from a potter friend of hers. And what they do, there's this kind of pottery, I guess, where you put stuff in the kiln and partway through the fire, you open it up and you throw through the door, you throw ash inside onto your pots, and it makes some sort of funky glaze and stuff like that. And this person had told her, oh my God, cherry, that's the one we use for this job, blah, 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 blah. So whatever, somebody can research this much. I haven't bothered to look this up, but there are these backstories. The cherry ash is usable for these things.
Yeah. Maybe I'll take some Burnham and start. I've got a small garden that I decided to start. It's been fun.
On the balcony or in the actual garden?
No, because we've got a little
Yeah.
yard. Yeah. So I brought some peas in today that grew. My lunch, 7 peas from my own garden.
You're gonna share this, of course, right?
Yeah, I gotta share it with everybody. Everybody gets half of one pea pod. True Awesomeness says, Einstein didn't wear socks. Coincidence?
I'm gonna go there.
Not gonna go there, okay.
And at least not with my mouth. In my own mind, of course.
Think whatever you want.
A legend in his own mind. Is that what's the expression there?
Yeah, I think so.
Me and my buddy Einstein. Yeah. Careful, my mother's listening.
Oh, yeah. Has she been in here lately?
She was here today.
Oh, she was? Okay.
And my voice, I got something coming, so she's all with the go drink some honey and stuff
Yeah.
like this. So whatever. Yeah, she watches quite a lot. I've asked her, please talk more, but she's a bit shy about this. So,
Yeah. And that's okay. It's fun that you do have your mother watching though.
She's not the fastest typist, which doesn't make it easy. So. If you're looking at the bookkeeping this morning, you'll see. Yesterday, people left. You left at what? We left at about 5.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, no.
Their takeaway left at 5:30.
Yeah.
And I kicked them out actually. The last entry on the register is just before 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock? What were you doing?
Just nothing. Just I'm chatting with a couple from Belgium, and then while
Yeah.
we're chatting, some girl from Canada comes in because
Yeah.
the door's open. There's no chance
Right.
to get downstairs and close the door.
Oh, no.
Go into evening and it's light inside, light and bright, and
Yeah.
it's okay. I'm not complaining. It was fun. I was happy, but I had planned to go to Akihabara to get the printer
Right,
and then get the LED lights. Well, we almost wants for downstairs.
Oh,
And
no.
the LED light place closes at 8, so that was off the books.
Yeah.
But luckily, Yodobashi camera, I thought they closed at 9. They're open until 10.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you
So I
made
was
it
able
over
to do
there.
it. I got over there and got a printer. That's a story, man. I don't even want to. I was chatting about it earlier here.
Oh,
It
no.
may not work. It's. I need you to help me do some
Okay.
testing on it today.
All right.
It may not actually do the job without extensive,
Oh,
whatever. I don't want to
issues.
really reissue
Okay.
the fine print in all the specification pages. The specs say it'll do this, it'll do this, it'll do this, and every one of those specs has a little tiny star by it.
Yeah.
When you go to the bottom of the page and read it, it's except of course when you actually really need this to happen.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Exactly. What is lignum vitae? Do you know what that is?
It's a kind of wood. It's a very
Oh,
hard
okay.
wood. They use it for mallets and stuff in the West. It's like iron. If you think of the judges banging mallet, that would be lignum.
Yeah. Someone said that would be really tough to work with if you were carving.
For carving, I have no idea. I've never touched it. It's not just hardness. The wood we use, we talk about the wood being hard. If it's too hard, we know there's lots of harder woods. There's harder woods in Japan, keaki. It's too hard. Water doesn't go inside it, and we can't get an impression. It's like printing on a metal plate.
Yeah.
So we need a balance of hardness and absorbability.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not just the one factor. There are harder woods than cherry. That's good, we know that. But unfortunately, they have other characteristics that negate them from printmaking. So. For the mallet, maybe, for the persuader, maybe that would be a good one. No,
Yeah. The Real Lendex. Sorry your chat entry got caught in a mod net. I was scrolling up and tried to catch it and release it, but then it comes out way later, so sorry about that. It was a fine message.
a mod net. What?
Yeah, it got caught and said this message is in temporary.
automatically,
It's-
you mean? Really?
Yeah, it was automatically being held for review, and so
Because
I
what,
hit
it
go.
had some word in it or
Yes,
something?
yeah, but I think it's fine. It was about that wood. That's how I found it. I was scrolling up. I was like, why is this message being held? So
What, because of naughty words or something? Or what?
yeah, but it's fine. It wasn't making extreme. I don't imagine balsa would be very good for this. You got the absorption, probably.
Yeah. You can make a print from it, maybe 1, 2.
One.
I told you.
Yeah. So soft.
I do believe this block is now basically ready for test printing at least.
Oh, fun.
That's the first of the color blocks for the microwave. We'll probably have to, once it goes into production or when we're doing test printing, I've tried to guess how much space to leave here. There's probably not enough space at the top. People will be, again, we're dealing with beginners here, so.
Yeah.
And they will be rubbing their color, especially right-handed people, left-handed people. They're rubbing right hand here. You can't see where you're going, so they will end up going across here. So this will get covered with pigment. And on the current blocks we've taken this off.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. But the problem is then what happens is the paper flops in the corners.
Right.
And the paper picks up mess. So again, for professionals, we would leave this on because we wouldn't put pigment there.
Right.
But beginners are going to absolutely come running here and smash it.
Yeah.
So I left it there for the moment, and what we're going to do is just cut it back bit by bit. I'm hoping maybe I can get away with leaving a bit of a corner for stability for the paper. We'll see.
What did you call that? Bridging before? Is
Well, that was an island. There was an island in
Okay.
the middle we were talking about
Right.
using. And this is sort of an island as well. There's many, many ways to do it. Leave an island or put a temporary island in or use a mask or in and out. But they all complicate the process.
Yep.
Then again, this is probably now too shallow.
Got it.
So we'll either have to go deeper to avoid the sagging.
Yeah.
And it's all trial and error. We're trying to do a balance between the way we would carve it ourselves and the way that beginners are going to use it. So this is the starting point. That's one. So what we've got done now so far, to recap what's happening in this, the key block is done. And please don't write to me about the kind of blue. We're not going to be using this light blue. It will be darker blue when we do the production. I just used whatever was at hand to do this. So the key block is done for the first level. And we have taken an impression of it to do one of the color blocks, which actually in real life would have 2 colors on it. It would have the sky color as a lighter tone and the boat color as a woody tone. On the simpler version, we're going to unify those and give it a simple tone that will work for both blocks. Then next up will be the block that does all the lighter blue in the middle of the waves and the highlight on this area. That'll be block number 3. It'll be lighter blue tone. Then block number 4 will be the area here for the sky. Well, again, I can show you on the real wave. I guess it's easier. On the real wave, the sky has 2 tones of gray, a very light gray. We need it there, even though it's very light, we need it to create the foam. If we have nothing there, there won't be any foam in the sky. So we need a lighter gray block, and that block will do the sky, and it will overlap the straw on the boats, the oars, the bottom area of the boat, and stuff like that. So again, that'll give it a full surface, so people will be able to rub pretty well everywhere. Then the last block, the 5th block, will be the area behind the mountain here that will create the dark black gradation. And here's where me and the staff are at odds. They think I should cut a block that just finishes here and it'll be a black stripe. And I don't want to give up. I'm going to try teaching people how to do a gradation.
Yeah. And if it doesn't work, then
Plan B,
reconsider. Yeah.
Plan B, yes. Plan C, Plan D. And I think we can get them through it.
Yeah.
It's going to require guiding the brush and the block. I don't have the block carved, but if you imagine once the block is carved, we'll put guidelines on the wood and guidelines on the brush. And we'll be training the people how to use it. Just move your brush sideways, following the guidelines, keeping pressure here and stuff like that. Cool. And I'm confident. I think it's going to work. But we'll see. We'll see. It sounds like the staff is arriving.
Yeah,
Cameron. Is it that time? Are we at 9:30?
It's almost
already?
9:30, a couple
Jeez,
minutes.
Look at this. Anyway, we got some things done. I got a bunch of patron chibis embossed, and I got this block finished.
Yeah. Zombie Boss has a question for you. Interested? What print are you planning to use for Fuji TV when you're live? Or not Fuji TV, Tokyo TV.
I know it's open air. I know there's a question about that. He was in here discussing that with me yesterday.
Right.
And he said, the Peach Boy story, it's a little bit childish. Can we do something better? Do you have somebody to look you at? And he said that he saw doing this. He said, good, could we use this? I said, he won't
It's
be
not
ready
done.
by next
Yeah.
Tuesday. Won't be ready. So he asked me, what else have we got? And we showed him, good morning, Sugi-san. Thank you for the email. Email, thank you. Good. Yokatta. Hontou ni yokatta. Yonde. Sugi.
よかったです。ありがとうございます。
Where am I? So we showed him the Peach Boy print, and we showed him a couple of the other children's stories prints. We can't use those because those are images lifted from books.
Right.
So the only one option left is the Sensoji print.
Oh, yeah.
And that has a problem. It's got the sky tree in the background.
Which is another copyrighted image.
And it's not copyright, it's trademarked.
Trademark.
It's a trademarked image. And you have to get permission from the Tobu company.
Yeah.
Good morning,
Ohayou
guys.
gozaimasu.
Away you go. No joke. You have to get permission from the Tobu company to use the sky tree in a commercial product, which is what our print parties are. And this is no joke. I mean, I haven't talked to Tobu. We just said, get out of my way. Send in the lawyers. Take me to court. Go ahead. Let's see where we go with this.
Yeah.
But that sky tree print, we're illegally using it.
Huh.
And I'm not a lawyer. My common sense reaction to this is, you stick that 2 kilometer high thing in front of my eyes, and it's right there, and you're telling me I can't see this. I can't put it in a photograph or an image.
Yeah.
And that's what the lawyers are saying. It's a trademarked object.
Huh.
So under the Kumiai, the Craftsmen's Association, they were hired to do a commemorative print of the sky tree, and they had to license it. They had to license it. I have no idea the terms, 10%, 15, 20%, whatever.
Wow.
So the TV guy said, really? I said, look, don't tell me, just go to your lawyers. TV Tokyo has a room full of lawyers.
Yeah.
Chat with them about
Ask
it.
them, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not going to get involved with
So
this.
it'll probably be Momotaro.
So it'll probably be Momotaro.
Yeah.
And no kidding, the sky tree is a trademarked object, and you can't see it. You're not supposed to use it.
Wow. Huh.
I don't know how much they're chasing people or what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's their right to do this.
Interesting.
I think it's the same, if you think about it. You're out there taking a movie or whatever, and you're panning across, you're making a movie scene, the person walks in front of a 7-Eleven. They have to clear it. The 7-Eleven logo comes in the background of a movie,
Right.
and they have to clear it.
Yep.
Or 7-Eleven pays them to get it in a movie,
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
What do they call product placement and stuff
Yeah.
like this? So it's a deal. It's a real deal. And when the guy did the documentary for us on Ukiyo-e Heroes, every single scene we went outside. Every single scene we're outside. He set it up first. He cleared it. He didn't get the license. He set it up so that there wasn't a visible, recognizable sign in the background.
Wow.
And a couple of takes we had to do twice because a car went by in the background with a FedEx logo or something, whatever it was. And he was serious. He said, "This is a big deal in Hollywood. You don't muck
I
around
bet
with
it
this."
is, yeah.
And in the shop at the time, we were taking Bitcoin, and we had our logo, the Bitcoin logo, on the wall.
Yeah.
We accept Bitcoin. We were at that time because
Right.
Bitcoin was still usable. He made me take it down. I said, no, we want a Wikipedia page. The Bitcoin logo was there, free to use by anybody, no copyright, no trademark, blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
And he still would not shoot the scene unless I took it down.
Wow.
He said, I don't care. I don't care what it says, just the lawyers. We're trying to sell this thing later.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that looks objectionable in it, the German TV won't buy it, or such and such. NHK won't license it if they see any of this stuff. He said, even you might think it's free, doesn't matter. We can't use it. Get that stuff out of here.
Wow.
So
What a hassle. But
for me, I'm ignoring this. We are doing our Sensoji print, and it has a sky tree in it, and we're just going ahead with this. And my common sense viewpoint is just bring on the lawyers. Go ahead,
yeah.
because we're such small fry.
Yeah.
But TV Tokyo is a different story. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see. This is going on too long. I have got to get out of the shop. Got to help set up things. If today is anything like it was yesterday, oh my God, we're going to run out of prints, Cameron.
Yeah.
We are literally going to run out of prints.
Yeah.
It was so much fun chatting with people.
Oh,
Just,
yeah, they were all
so
fun
much
people,
fun.
everyone that I met.
It was so much fun. But my God, I was exhausted last
Believe
night.
it. You sound a little tired.
I am tired. I'm okay. I slept well. Believe me, I slept. I would lay down and
Lay down, boom.
bang, I'm
Immediately.
gone. So.
Wow.
But it was so much fun. That last couple, you didn't see them, the couple from Belgium. Oh, shit. We just couldn't get out of it. They bought a few prints, and I gave them some backstory on me and Jed trying to sort
fun.
whatever. I can't talk about it.
Yeah. That's fun.
Sign us off, please, sir.
Okay.
What's today? Today's Friday. So tomorrow, tomorrow at the same time, there will be a stream, and I have no idea what I'll be doing. It might be a sizing stream. It might be more of that embossing. I've got even more embossing. It might be the results of the test printing of the share certificate. It might be doing the color separations, the next print on this one.
Yeah.
It might be you're going to sit there and watch
Lots
me
of-
sleep. I don't know.
Yeah,
I have
lots
no
of
idea.
options.
There will be a stream.
Okay.
Same time, same place.
All right.
Thanks very much, gang. Thanks for watching.
Hey there.